Welcome to Betting Weekly Tennis Live, brought to you in association with Bet Rivers. I'm Rui Jawani. With me is Nigel Seeley to bring you all the in-play action and picks for matches in no fewer than 4 tournaments. ATP 500s in Barcelona and Munich. We've got the WTA 500 in Stuttgart and the WTA 250 in Rouen. Nigel, how are you getting on today? How are you getting on this week?
I'm good, mate. I've had a good week on the tennis, actually. Good stuff. The WTA's, every time we've done the WTA show, we get off to a good start. It always sort of goes pear-shaped. So I don't really want to get too excited about Ruud reaching the quarterfinals, but all the seeds are dropping like flies in that tournament. So that's pretty good for us over in Rouen. Obviously, we didn't have the outright picks in Stuttgart when we did the show. So we didn't have that. So we can freshly look at that here today. I'm looking for, and it's been a good day. Yesterday was a very good day. The 2 players that I posed on the show in terms of odds on favourites, Parks and McCartney Kessler, both got beat. So it's been a pretty good week. But I love the intro music. It gets me pumped. It gets me absolutely pumped for the music. The music gets me going. Not so good just there. I just looked Talon Greeksport beat Yannick Hanfmann. I was on over 9.5 in set number 1, which cashed, over 9.5 in set number 2, which didn't cash. And I was on the German to get the better of Greeksport there, and it didn't materialise. So you caught me at a bad time, my mate.
Yeah, well, a lot of successful punters on that Greek score match, because Greeksport against Hanfmann, 88% of the money and 90% of the tickets were on Greeksport. The overs-unders was close, wasn't it? Because it was 72% of the money was on unders, but 54% of the tickets were on overs, and it finished 7-6, 6-3. So I think the overs would have been laughing after the first set, but unfortunately didn't quite happen in the second set. But Greeksport is through in Munich. What else has happened in Munich? Luciano Darderi, he beat Miomir Kecmanovic 6-4 in the third to make the last 8. Ben Shelton's through. He won his serving battle with Botic van der Zandschulp. Alexander Zverev, he's won a match. Goodness me. It's been a while. I think now the pressure off, because obviously he can't overtake Yannick Sinner to be world number 1, but he got the better of Daniel Altmaier today. So that's Munich. Munich's done for the day. But
yeah, we know the quarterfinals now. So Alexander Zverev will play Talon Greeksport. And Darderi, who was tipped by Sean Calvert on Game Bet Match, will play Ben Shelton. So they're on opposite halves of the draw. Zverev's number 1 seed will play Greeksport, and Shelton will play Darderi. Then tomorrow we've got the remaining last 16 to fill the quarterfinal lineup. So we got some interesting there as well. So Zverev will play Greeksport. It's a tough match, and Darderi will be Shelton. The odds for Bet Rivers will be on their website in the next hour or so on those quarterfinals.
Absolutely. Now, I said we've got all the latest in-play action. Very interesting match going on in Barcelona at the moment. Hamad Medjedovic, who I believe Nigel's got an interest in here. He's up against Casper Ruud. Medjedovic had a break. I think he broke in the opening game. Ruud pulled it back. Medjedovic just had a break point for 6-5, but Ruud has saved it. So it's 5 apiece deuce in that first set. Current match odds, Medjedovic plus 185, Ruud minus 245. I think you've got Medjedovic to win the tournament, have you, Nigel?
Yeah, I took him at 50 to 1 at the start of the tournament. I thought it was a big price. Obviously, there's some better players, but I thought the bottom half of the draw in Barcelona was certainly a lot weaker than the top half of the draw, and he was a big price at 50 to 1. In that bottom half of the draw, you've got Holger Rune, who was very poor today, Davidovich, Fokina, Rublev, Munar, Khachanov, and in the top half of the draw, it's loaded. You've got Alcaraz, Diminor, Tsitsipas, and Artur Fils, who's making absolute inroads in the clay court world at the moment. A player that is 75 to 1 with Bet Rivers currently to win the French Open, which I think is a massive, massive price, the best price in the land at the moment. Artur Fils, he's not far off top level him. So it's definitely a bottom half of the draw, and I thought that he was a big price at 50 to 1. He's currently in play. Casper Ruud is minus 240, and Medjedovic is plus 175. 5-5 going with serve in the 11th match, and it's advantage for Ruud on his serve. Spread 2.5 in total. Here is 24.5. I do think the total is pretty cheap, over 24.5 at minus 130, because if Medjedovic wins this set, then, or if he goes to a tie break, we've got 13 on the board, and the way they've both been serving in this first set, I wouldn't be surprised to see a similar kind of thing in set number 2 as well. So 24.5 over is minus 125. I think Medjedovic should be playing better. If you look at the stats in this match, he's played much better than Casper Ruud. The reason why Ruud is minus 278 and Medjedovic is $2 is because of his experience, his clay court experience. But he's cold. He's coming in not in great form. There was money for him today. He started off about a minus $3 favourite, but he was really poor last week in Monte Carlo against Alexei Popper in the match I watched. And Medjedovic has looked good here. He's come through 3 matches. He beat Delien in round 1. He beat Pera, which is a big serving Frenchman. In the qualifying, he beat Delien. He beat Pera in round 1, and he looked really, really good. So, and he's serving brilliantly. So, I think this here is a lot closer than those in-place odds suggest. So, Medjedovic at 2-1 currently with Bet Rivers. If I wasn't on the 50-1, I'd be definitely betting the 2-1 on Medjedovic there in that match.
Yeah, well, a lot of the bettors really liked Ruud for this one. 94% of the money and 95% of the tickets for Casper Ruud to win this match. But as you say, it's turning out to be a lot closer than the odds have suggested. And Medjedovic now serving to stay in that first set, serving to take it into a tie break. But earlier in Barcelona, you mentioned Fils. I mean, he made the quarters last week in Monte Carlo, falling in 3 to eventual winner Carlos Alcaraz. Today, he beat Pedro Martinez in straight sets pretty comfortably. What else has happened today? You mentioned Tsitsipas. He got the better of Seb Korda. And Holger Rune, he's still looking not quite his usual self. He had to come from a set down today to beat Sebastian Baez. I mean, apart from Medjedovic, you said the top half is loaded. Any other views on the tournament as a whole? Who do you fancy to come out on top?
Well, it's Alcaraz is the man to beat, isn't he? But he's minus money favourite with Bet Rivers. He's got a pretty easy winnable match against Laszlo Djere. Then he's got to play Diminor or Fernley. He should fancy him chance to win that. I think Fils is the only person in the draw who can stop him. To show you how well Fils has moved in the clay court rankings at this moment in time, tomorrow the early lines are coming out for Fils against Tsitsipas. And it is literally a pick and match. It's minus 110 the pair. If you look at Bet Rivers odds to win the French Open currently, I mean, it just shows you. I mean, the Tsitsipas is 20-1 and Fils is 75-1. And he's been cut actually today to 50-1. But they were 75-1, the biggest price in the land. They're pick 'em, and the market suggests that Fils will start favourite at this moment in time. So on the clay court ranking, Fils is not far off the same level as Tsitsipas at the moment, and those players just behind the front two. He is the emerging talent on the clay court game. I mean, he's a lot better player to me than I fancy him to beat Zverev at this moment in time, and he's available at a very big price. So I'm looking ahead already to the French Open in this kind of match, but I've been really, really impressed with him. He's the only player, Roy, I don't know if you noticed, he's the only player who has reached the quarterfinals in every 1,000 this year. Fils is the only player. No other player has reached at least the quarterfinals, and Artur Fils is the only player to do that. So this is the talent of the boy, and I think it's his time at the moment. So I think he might push Alcaraz close, but Alcaraz in Barcelona, Spaniard in Spain, is going to be hard to beat with the crowd, and he's obviously full of form after winning Monte Carlo last week.
Yeah, I suppose one factor perhaps in that big price of Fils is 5 sets as opposed to 3, perhaps. But even so, it still shouldn't be 2.5 times the price of Tsitsipas. No.
Well, he's a big game player. The only problem with a lot of French players have gone into the French Open before and haven't been able to cope with the pressure. But this boy will thrive on it. He's different. He's a different level. He's a different makeup. So at this moment in time, he's on a level with Tsitsipas, and he will play Tsitsipas tomorrow. Minus 110 is the early prices, and on the differential between the two of them on the French Open is stark compared to the odds tomorrow.
Yeah, just to mention that we had one bettor who had $4,000 on Fils on the money line at minus 400 to beat Pedro Martinez. Obviously, that was a winner. Biggest bet on Wednesday, Ben Shelton in play, set 2 money line, minus 132 versus Botic van der Zandschulp. That was a winner. Linda Noskova also on the money line, $10,000 on her to beat Bernarda Pera. That was in Rouen. I think Pera was serving for the match in the second set there.
She didn't look very well in Noskova. She doesn't look comfortable on the clay, and one of the reasons why we wanted to oppose her. I thought she looked pretty poor today. I mean, she's right up there as a tournament favourite, but she's got to raise her game. The draw's very favourable. There's hardly anybody in the draw for her, but she's beatable in this tournament. There's no way she'd like the conditions today. She looked rusty, so you're going to take a little bit of time to get used to it. And she didn't look good at all today for me.
Yeah, we were both surprised that she was such a short favourite for the tournament. I think she was plus 330 at the start of the tournament. Another big bet on a match currently in progress in Stuttgart, the all-German affair between Tatjana Mirra and Ella Seidel. And it's on Mirra, $7,300 at Mirra, who was opened up at plus 155, which is a bit of a surprise that she was the underdog here, I think. And the first set, Maria's up 3-1, although there have already been a few breaks of serve in that one. That could go on a long time.
I'm a little bit gutted that we didn't come on 5 minutes earlier, because I was going to make the big case for getting on Tatjana Mirra against Seidel here. I thought I couldn't understand why the market was massively moving against Mirra. Obviously, she's a proven player. She's better. She's got more experience in this service, and I thought she looked a decent price at plus one. I think when I looked on it, it's plus 115. She's now minus 186. She's 15.30, but 3 went up with the break. Women's tennis, as we know, the break, it doesn't really mean much at all. She could get broken back here. But I certainly think if it gets down to a close match, Tatjana Mirra has got the experience to get through. The other one, Rouen is in play as well now. And, Fiona Ferro, she's currently minus 215 against Jessika Ponchet. She's a break-up against a battle between two French players. But I wanted to fade Fiona Ferro today. I know she's a break-up now, but at minus $2, I definitely want to fade her in play, because she comes through that crazy match against McCartney Kessler the other day, which was absolutely, it was comedy. It was comedy gold. The amount of mistakes they made, the amount of breaks they made, it was absolutely awful. She's had a really bad year a couple of years of injury. She's 376 in the world ranking. She's building a new career. She's obviously 3-0 this year. She's come through qualifying. She had to come through qualifying, but she hasn't been impressive whatsoever. And Ponchet is 230 spots higher in the rankings, and arguably playing a lot better. And then their last meeting, she beat Ferro 6-love, 6-3. And I couldn't believe that she was starting like a big underdog here. So I think there's a lot in that Ferro could not hold her serve. Absolutely couldn't hold her serve against McCartney Kessler. It was breaks galore. There was more breaks than in the World Snooker Championships and in that match. And I'm telling you now that is a game that is going to be fluctuating all through the match. And currently Ponchet is plus 175 with Bet Rivers. Ferro is minus 235. So that, to me, is a game that you want to be with the dog there, Ponchet, and play at plus 175. Just give you an update. Casper Ruud is a break point now against Medjedovic. Medjedovic is throwing it away on his serve. Set point. Yep. Set point. Yep. Yeah. Plus minus 480 for Casper Ruud, and Medjedovic is plus 325. And remember, if you do bet with the Bet Rivers website, you'll be able to watch these matches live streamed as well. So, don't leave this channel, but you have it on one television and listen to us giving you commentary at the same time.
Absolutely. So, and Ruud has actually just converted that set point. So he's a set to love up, and he's now minus $10 in play. Medjedovic plus $6. But as you say, I mean, that's fluctuating as we speak. But as you say, there's still there's still legs in this match, aren't there?
Well, he's serving well. I mean, he was brilliant in the first set. I mean, the total looked quite cheap, and the total's gone down to 21.5. We've got 12 on the board. We only need 10. I think there's been more than 9 games in the second set, and you've obviously got the bonus that Medjedovic could win the second set as well. I've watched him a few times, Medjedovic. He's not a player that doesn't really down tools. He's got a lot of fight. He's got a lot of spirit. You would expect that being from where he comes from. And I don't think this game's over. So I'm looking at the totals here over 21.5 if I was going to have a bet now. And Casper Ruud is renowned for playing a lot of long matches. He plays a lot of tie breaks, a lot of matches. And, he gives chances. He gives a lot of breaks away and breaks them back. So 21.5 does appear cheap. You need 10, and you've got the Medjedovic could win a set here. So, you could win it if Casper Ruud wins in straight sets, and you could win it you're definitely going to win it if he goes into 3. Ponchet has a break point against Fiona Ferro.
Yeah, I just saw that immediately.
And she's now favourite. She's now favourite. She's minus 113. That was plus $2 20 minutes ago. Honestly, she should win this. Ferro is the wrong price. She was the wrong favourite. And it amazes me that she was minus 220 at the start of the match. It's now 3-3, essentially going with serve, and it's now pick and match. So that just shows you that on the stats in his first 6 matches, Ponchet has been the much better player. She is the much better player, and Ferro was dreadful against McCartney-Kessler. If she was playing any other player, she would be packing her bags on the way home.
So there you go. And in Stuttgart, Ella Seidel's just got to break back against Tatjana Maria. I think that's going to go the distance.
It's going to be like that. Those 2 matches look crazy, don't they?
They do. There's going to be non-stop breaks, and you can take a position. I think 2 matches where you can take a position and get out anytime you like, pretty much, because that's women's tennis for you. Let's have a look at tomorrow's action. Shall we start with Barcelona? We've got a few matches to look at in Barcelona. There you go, up on your screen. I suppose the big one would be top right there. Carlos Alcaraz, fresh off winning Monte Carlo. He's up against Laszlo Djere. Obviously, a very, very short price there. More Spanish interest as well. Jaume Munar up against Karen Khachanov. Munar, the underdog there at +123. Really interesting match bottom left of your screen. Alejandro Davidovich Fokina against Andray Rublev. And Rublev, the slight favourite there. And finally, Jacob Fernley. He's British. Jacob Fernley up against Alex de Minaur, the Australian. And the Australian, a very short price favourite. Any of those jumping out at you, Nigel, for tomorrow?
Well, I mean, there's been a big move for Karim Khachanov. He was minus 110 to win that match. He's now minus 152, and I think it's playing a little bit quick. The weather's going to be nice tomorrow, so that should help him. So there's a big move for Khachanov. I'm not quite sure whether he should be minus 150 against Jaume Munar, who's a clay court specialist in Spain. I think that's an interesting one. Look at Alcaraz. I mean, Alcaraz he's playing Laszlo Djere, who is a proper clay court opponent, a real proven clay court opponent, and they've met once before on clay, and Jerry took a set off him. So 19.5 games look quite cheap to me in that match, but I want to get with Andray Rublev to beat Alejandro Davidovich Fokina at minus 121. That's my best bet of the day tomorrow. It's in my daily double, and the reason why is he leads 5-0 in the head-to-heads. Davidovich Fokina is a bit temperamental, to say the very least. He had a brilliant week last week in Monte Carlo, reached the semi-finals. He started off the week here well by beating Stanislaus Wawrinka. He's played an awful lot of tennis at the moment. He might be a bit leg weary, and he's up against a player that he just can't get the better of. I watched the 2 of these play in Dubai a couple of years ago. I was out in Dubai, I watched the match. I've never seen anything like it. I was on Davidovich Fokina. I think we bet Rublev to win the tournament that year, and Rublev went on to win the tournament. But Davidovich Fokina won the first set and was 6-love up or 6-1 up in the second set tiebreak, and he lost the match. He's been in winning positions against Rublev many times. He's a player that he cannot read. He's a player that Rublev gets into his head. And Davidovich Fokina is probably one of the most flakiest tennis players on the men's circuit. He has massive highs and massive lows, and I think that Rublev will get the better. I think that head-to-head 5-0 will see him through tomorrow against Davidovich Fokina. I have bad memories of watching that, and Davidovich will have nightmares of matches he's played against Rublev. And I think the Rublev comes in a little bit cold. You know, he's not playing exceptionally well at the moment, Rublev, but he hasn't played a lot of tennis compared to Davidovich Fokina. And I think tomorrow he'll get the better of him. Again, it's been an early move for Rublev, opened up at minus 110, now into minus 121. I expect that to move even more. So I think Rublev is the best bet tomorrow in Barcelona. Lean for over 19.5 games in the Laszlo Djere match or Carlos Alcaraz match. And the handicap in that will probably be about 6.5, I'm guessing, with a 19.5 start. And I'll give Djere a chance at 6.5. Last week in Monaco, Alcaraz went on and won the tournament, but he dropped the set in 3 of his matches. So he gives chances, and I think Laszlo Djere is a proven clay courter who may keep it a little bit more competitive than those odds suggest.
Yeah, the spread is 5.5 games.
Right.
So you got Sherry plus 5.5 games minus 124.
I don't know if we can move the toggle up 6.5. It might be a little bit very low odds, but I mean, I might take a chance. I think probably the best way is the 19.5 because essentially you are playing the handicap and you think he's going to keep it competitive. So 6-4 will be perfect.
So there we go. And just to back up your point against Jessika Ponchet, she's now heavy odds on. minus 157 because she held serve against Fiona Ferro. But again, that one could.
And Tatjana Maria's just broken back when she's minus 235. So it's breaks minus 250. So Maria, I really do like that Ponchet match. That was the bet I really wanted to come on at the beginning and get involved in. So if Ferro holds her serve here, and Ponchet's got the advantage of serving first, that if Ferro has to serve to stay in the set,
oh, goodness,
anything can happen. So I wouldn't want to be. I wouldn't want to be on the French girl having that scenario. So definitely for me, I do like the Ponchet here.
So we've looked at Barcelona tomorrow. Let's look at Munich, the other 500 this week. And there we go. David Goffin against Mariana Navone, and Goffin, the underdog, at plus 175. His fellow Belgian Zizou Bergs is in action. He's a much stronger favourite against Diego Dedura Palomero. Bergs minus 590. Francisco Cerundolo, heavy favourite against Alexander Shevchenko, minus $10, the Argentinian. And then a very interesting match on the bottom right of your screen, Frenchman Hugo Humbert against Hungary's Fabian Maroszan. It's a pick'em. Humbert minus 109, Maroszan minus 113, and the game's 22.5. So quite high on the games front. What takes your fancy here, Nigel?
Well, Goffin Navone, I think it's a tricky one to call. Goffin's got a match in him. Navone, you can never really trust him. I mean, the match there, the graphic's gone. If you can put the graphic back up again, I can't remember the second. Zizou Bergs at minus 590 to me is about right. I mean, the celebration the young 17-year-old did when he beat Shapovalov, who withdrew. He got injured and withdrew. He celebrated like he won the French Open title. He went on the court. He put a big cross. He laid on the court. He was pumping it. The guy withdrew. And anyway, it was incredible. Francisco Cerundolo, I think, will win this tournament. I think Zverev is vulnerable. Wow. And Cerundolo at 4-1 or 5-1, I think he'll win the tournament. So he would be my bet currently now to win the tournament. But my best bet tomorrow here in Munich is Maroszan to beat Hugo Humbert. I think Hugo Humbert's got an injury. He's got a problem with his wrist. He's playing with strapping. He didn't look good in his last couple of matches, but he come through. Maroszan, I would say, out of the two, is the much, much, much better clay court player. He famously beat Carlos Alcaraz in Rome a couple of years ago. He's had big wins on clay before. Hugo Humbert is not comfortable on the clay. I know it's a quicker clay service than normal, but Hugo Humbert, he's a grass court player, fast court player, big serving, left-hander. I think especially with an injury, I think that Maroszan will get the job done against him. So my daily double for tomorrow is Maroszan to beat Hugo Humbert, and I'm going to go for Rublev to beat Davidovich Fokina. I think he plays. I've turned my phone off because I think it's plus 245,
plus 246. Yeah,
plus 246. Yeah, I think that would be my. That's my daily doubles tomorrow. And I think if you're going to look at the outright market, Cerundolo to win Munich would be where I'm heading.
So there you go.
I am going to the French Open this year, Ming. I'm only going for one day. I got into the ballot, but by the time I realised I got into the ballot, I went on and all the tickets had gone apart from the evening session on the first Monday. So I'm getting a Eurostar in, going to the first session on the Monday and coming back on the Wednesday. So yes, I am going.
So what are you going to do on the Tuesday, Nigel?
I met a girl on Tuesday, took her through a drink on Wednesday. Hey! I'm not going to say what we're doing on Thursday. No. Listen, there's a lot to do in Paris. We did a bit of sightseeing. I'm taking the Mrs. Paul will be going with me, so we'll get the Eurostar in. We've got night in a couple of hotels, nice bit of food, and then back on the Wednesday.
Lovely stuff. So that is men's tennis for now. And Munich we've looked at. Let's look at the women's. Let's look at Stuttgart tomorrow. Couple of matches. Got 4 matches on there. Just a note, bottom right. I think Potapova's withdrawn from. I heard she beat Clara Towson first up, and then I read a lot of reports saying that she had withdrawn from the tournament. So be careful about getting involved in that. I did read that Potapova had pulled out, but we've still got odds for it. Still going strong on the top left there, Mirra Andreeva, who beat her sister today. She was due to play Marta Kostyuk, last year's runner-up, but Kostyuk withdrew. And Erika Andreeva was the lucky loser. Mirra Andreeva was leading 6-2-1 love when Erika Andreeva retired injured. But Andreeva, very short price. I mean, I do like her for the tournament. She was $7 with Bet Rivers, which was the shortest price around. I was hoping for more like double figures, but Andreeva -335 against Yekaterina Alexandrova, the Russian, who's been in very good form. Emma Navarro -205 against Yelena Ostapenko, +155. You never quite know what you're going to get with Ostapenko. And Jule Niemeyer, the German, big underdog against Yasmin Paolini, unsurprisingly. I like Andreeva outright, but I think Alexandrova is a big price there.
Yeah, +250. I mean, it's a little bit quicker than normal clay services, as we said, which will suit Alexandrova. Mirra Andreeva wants it a little bit slower. I could see that, and she hasn't played a lot of tennis since she came back from the tournament in Miami, where she was disappointed, and she got beat by Alexandrova in Miami, didn't she? Was it? No, it was
Anisimova.
Anisimova, sorry, Anisimova.
Right. Yeah.
But the one bet that I do like on that graphic for tomorrow, I really like the over 21.5 in Navarro Ostapenko. I mean, that could be there is no way that is going to go straight sets. That's going to be 3 sets. It's going to be 2-6, 6-2, 6-2. There'll be breaks galore. That is a trading paradise. Navarro, I've vowed never to bet again after her performance against Raducanu. Ostapenko is a complete and utter headbanger, and the two of them together, it could be absolutely anything. But I tell you what I do like. There's a match that's going to start tonight, Rory, in 1:40 p.m. Eastern time. So coming up shortly over in Stuttgart, it's Elise Mertens against Diana Schneider. I think Schneider's a big price tonight to beat Elise Mertens at +106. Mertens is -132. I mean, she's been around the block for a long, long time. Elise Mertens, her form is not going anywhere. And I think Schneider, it's really important for her to get back into the groove for the French Open. She's had a bad run. Now it's her time of year. I think +106 Schneider is a big price. And the other thing I was just about to say to you is Ferro is serving to stay in the set 4-5, 15-all. So watch
just
the collapse.
What you wanted.
This is going to be a collapse here. I think there's a break coming here. Ferro will get break by Ponchet. But I do think Schneider tonight at +106. If that was played a year ago on clay, how would you bet it? Schneider would be -150, -1. It should be a big favourite.
Concern, isn't it? She's just not been in great form this year.
This is her time, though, isn't it? This is her time. I think +106 is pretty big.
Yeah, well, 74% of the money has been on Mertens, 57% of the tickets on Schneider. So even the bettors are split on this. The spread very much in favour of Mertens, and all the money's for overs games on this one. 96% of the money on overs and 95% of the tickets on overs. I think overs is a fair shout on this one for two players. Well, Mertens isn't playing badly. Schneider's not been in the best of form, but on clay, these things can get dragged out. Ferro did hold serve, goodness me. So it's 5-all.
You're ahead of me. I was just watching 40. I just watched Ponchet put it in the net from an easy chance. Come to the net, and she put a backhand straight into the net. But both of these this is proper dire stuff. This is the television companies are trying to put this on to compete with people who want to watch the Champions League between Real Madrid and Arsenal.
No chance.
It's absolutely no chance. I mean, this could go on for a long time. 5-5, but they're both as bad as one another, really are. And that's probably why the -$2 was probably the wrong price about her in. I'll just give you some updates on the other matches as well. Medjedovic has got a break, Rory. A break. 29.5 is the games now. Was 21.5. Where he needed more than 9. He's a break up. Where you need him to get 2 more games and be cashed on the 21.5. So that is not over at all. And Medjedovic is +260 on the money line with Bet Rivers, -375 for Casper. I think 260 is a big price for Medjedovic. Tatjana Maria is 5-3 up and 30 love. Going to take the first set against Seidel, and Ferro and Ponchet going break. It's love 15 on Ponchet. Sir Ferro is now -137 in a match that's destined to be topsy-turvy, flip-flopping favourites galore.
Yeah, that's in Rouen, and we'll look at Rouen tomorrow briefly. We've got Linda Fravertova. I know we just got one priced up, beg your pardon. Jessika Buzas-Monero, who knocked out Maria Sakkari first up. She's up against Varvara Gracheva, who beat Sone Cartal. So they've both had good wins in the first round. The Spaniard -122, the favourite. Gracheva -103. Spread 1.5 games and totals 21.5 games. I don't really have a strong opinion on this one, but Buzas Monero has been playing well. She beat Noskova last week, Linda Noskova last week in the Billie Jean King Cup. So she's a player who last year could barely win a match on the WTA tour. She did quite well in the ITF events. But this year, she's actually started to convert that into WTA wins. And the bookies have her as favourite tomorrow. Nigel.
Just one thing before we go. I mean, I'll give you one thing on that match. Buzas Monero beat Khachanov last year on a hard court. And, in a year that she wasn't playing very well. And she started that match at about minus 120. She's now the same price to win tomorrow on her surface. Clay is her surface. She's much more familiar with clay. She's in better form than when she won last year against Khachanov. And I think Buzas Monero at minus 120 on the surface of clay is a decent bet tomorrow. Yeah.
And Tatjana Maria's taken the first set. So she's now minus 400 against Ella Seidel. Ferro, Ponchet, 30-all, 5-all. That could go on all night. And Medjedovic is up in the second set. So that's the in-play action. Nigel, you mentioned Real Madrid and Arsenal. So once you've finished watching this, catch up on the Betting Weekly Live for all the best champions.
Yeah, I did that. I mean, I've gone for I'll give you what I've gone for now. I've gone for a couple of props. I think both teams will score. I think it'll be over 3 goals. My main bet is over 4.5 bookings. I've got a feeling that Real Madrid, you live in Madrid, you know the pressure they're under. The manager won the Champions League last year. He's got 3 matches that are going to save his job or lose his job. It's crazy how it changes in Madrid. He's got this match tonight, and he's got Barcelona in the cup final and then Barcelona in the league. And it's huge. And it's going to make it even worse if Barcelona get to the final as well. So I think this is going to be a feisty affair tonight. And we know with Arsenal that the one thing they do suffer from is petulance in big matches. Players get sent off, kicking the ball away, time wasting. We've seen it 2 or 3 times already this season. Trossard's done it, Declan Rice has done it, Saliba's done it. And I worry about them on big games. They won that match 3-0, but really, was it a 3-0? If you watch it back, was it a 3-0? They had a brilliant spell in the middle of the second half, but I think this could be right feisty affair tonight. So over 4.5 bookings in a high-scoring game, and I've gone for Mbappe to score. He's got 31 goals this season, and you can bet him at plus money with Bet Rivers to score anytime.
Do you think Arsenal will get through?
I do, but I think it'll be squeaky bum time.
It will be. It really will, especially if Real get one early. And the problem with Real, and one of the sort of murmurs that's been going around is like, a lot of the players don't seem up for it. Like some of the league games, they lost to Valencia the other week, and the players don't seem up for it until they go behind and then suddenly they want to play. They'll be up for tonight. I don't think there'll be any question about that.
There absolutely will be. It's going to be a great game, great thing. But what you want as a purist, we want Real Madrid to go 1-0 up inside 5 minutes, and then it'll be game on.
Yeah, that will be very, very interesting indeed. That has been Betting Weekly Tennis Live. We'll just remind you of the daily double, which was tomorrow in Barcelona and Munich.
Yeah, we've gone for Rublev to beat Davidovich Fokina, 5-0 in the head-to-head. I think it's going to go 6-0. I've seen it firsthand. Davidovich Fokina does not know how to play against Rublev. He gets into his head and he can throw away winning positions to losing positions very, very quickly. And over in the other tournament in that one's in Hamburg, isn't that? Where's that one? That was in Barcelona, isn't it? Munich. And the one in Barcelona, I've gone for Maroszan to beat an injured Hugo Humbert, who has a wrist injury and isn't really comfortable on a clay court. Although it's quick, it's still clay, and I would take Maroszan, who's got much more of the proven experience on a clay surface, to beat an injured Humbert.
So Rublev in Barcelona, Maroszan in Munich. The daily double pays plus 246. That is today's daily double. And that is Betting Weekly Tennis Live for today. Hope you've enjoyed it. And I think it's Mitch will be back next Monday as we look at more in-play tennis action and we look at some of the outrights as well. But thanks again for joining us. Thank you, Nigel. And we'll see you again soon.